You can move a chart anywhere in a workbook, as well as moving elements within the chart, and you can resize a chart if it's too large or small to illustrate your data effectively. In this lesson, we'll move a chart, resize a chart, move a chart object, and change worksheet data. Here's the chart we created to illustrate the quarterly tour expenses for all the tour countries at Quest Specialty Travel. We want to resize the chart, and we want to move both the chart and the legend. When we're finished, we'll actually have changed the position of where the chart actually is located. We're going to change that the title here and the legend will actually move. So let's get started. I'll make sure this chart is still selected, which it is, but I can click on it to make sure it is. And I know it is because I can see these sizing handles here. I can actually, when I put my mouse pointer over it, I can change that if I want. When I see the sizing handles, these little dots at each corner and the size indicate that it is actually selected. So when I click off of it, you'll notice I do not see them, but when I click on it, I see those sizing handles. They appear whenever a chart is selected, along with the contextual chart tools tabs at the top of the ribbon, which you see right here. And I click on that to change the view. So, a chart is a graphic object, meaning it's an independent element in the document. So you can move or resize it just like you can change any other graphic object, like an image. I'll position the pointer over the chart until I see the move pointer. The move pointer is a four-headed arrow. Once I see that, I'm going to actually drag my chart so that it actually is aligned in cell A16 below the data that I used to create the chart. When I get to the point where I want to drop my chart, I just let go of my mouse button. So when I have the four-headed arrow, I click and then I can drag, and you'll notice as I'm moving my mouse and the chart is actually moving to a different area, so I can click till I can get right here and I can drop. And so once I release it, the chart is moved. So now let's look at how we can actually resize the chart a bit. I'm actually going to position my mouse pointer right here on the far right in the middle, and until it changes to a double-headed arrow. This is a resizing pointer, and what I'll do is I'm going to hold my mouse button down and I'm actually going to drag until my chart edge is at the end of column G. I can also do the same for the top and the bottom. I'm already going to drag this up. I'm going to put my mouse pointer here, get the double-headed arrow, I'm going to drag to the top of row 15, and I'm going to actually scroll down a bit so that I can actually see the information, and I can position my actual mouse button here on this sizing handle, and I can drag to the border. I can drag down to the border to 36. So it actually changes the size of my chart. It's large enough to be clearly visible. I can also change the chart by actually going to the corners, and I'm actually more of a fan of using the corners handles to actually resize it because it keeps a little bit more in proportion, but I want to go down to 36, the top of 15, so I can see it better. So now the chart is large enough to be clearly visible, but it's easier to view both it and the worksheet data, which is located up here on the screen, which is really important. But now what we're going to do is this chart itself, a chart object contains other objects, such as a title, which we see here. We changed that. And here we see a legend. So we can also move these. First thing I'm going to actually do, I'm going to click on the legend to select it. And you'll notice that I get sizing handles around the object itself. I'm going to press and hold the Shift key, which holds an object to its horizontal or vertical position as I move it. Then I'll drag the legend up so the dotted outline is about a 1/4 inch above the top of the plot area. So I'm going to guess kind of right there. But you'll notice when I actually hold, when I move the object, After it's selected, it moves the entire object. I don't really need to hold the shift key, but it's an easy way to keep an object in line, because you'll notice when right now I'm dragging without the shift key, and you'll notice it's hard to keep it in line. So I'm going to click on undo. When I actually drag with the shift key and move the object with the four-headed arrow, it keeps it in line, and it's not going, even when I move my mouse button left or right, it also keeps it in line, which is great. Once I actually have done that, I'm now going to click in cell A12. So over here in cell A12, I'm going to click there, and I'm actually going to change this. Instead of it saying USA, I want it to say United States. So I'm going to type in United States, press the enter key, and what you'll notice that here in my chart, it actually reflects the change that I've made. So that's very important, that if I go up here and change any of the data that I selected for my chart, down here it actually changes in my chart. So you want to make sure you're thinking about that. So I'm going to save my work, and if you want to try these steps and for some additional tips, you can check out your textbook, and also you'll find a table with some common object pointer shapes in Excel, and this is very important. And you can learn about how can I move this actual chart to a new sheet. So all it is on a new sheet.